We have new disturbing James Charles allegations from the same 14-year-old boy by the name of Ethan Rhett that had attempted to expose him for his predatory behavior years ago. These allegations were obviously met with a response video from James Charles where he was claiming he was so sorry if he made somebody uncomfortable.
In case anybody isn't aware of what's going on, within the past couple of weeks, 2 different people, both under the age of 18, have recently come forward saying that they had inappropriate messages with me on social media. Later on, when I saw them making videos about it and those videos going viral, my immediate reaction, completely honestly, was to be really, really upset. I wanted to get on camera and film another No More Lies video where I gather all my receipts and all my screenshots and try to tell my side of the story and then just move on from the situation. And now, looking back, that was so stupid because as I did more research on these topics and self-reflected, I realized that the receipts and the screenshots and the specific details of the interaction really don't matter because I fucked up. And I needed to take accountability for my actions and most importantly, apologize to the people that were affected by them. These conversations should have never happened, point blank period. There's no excuse for it, there's no ifs, ands, or buts, and I take full responsibility for that. In both of these situations, doing research into these people's public social media profiles would have revealed their true ages, and therefore these conversations would have never happened in the first place, but I didn't do the research, and that is what is so embarrassing. To the guys involved with this situation, I want to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I added you. I'm sorry that I flirted with you. And I'm really sorry if I ever made you uncomfortable. It is completely unacceptable.
If he didn't know sending pictures of his body parts to a 14-year-old underage boy would make them uncomfortable, and also asking him for pictures of himself. And then to make matters more disturbing, but honestly very predictable, is that James has been reporting Ethan's new videos on TikTok and getting some of his videos about the situation removed from the platform.
Hey guys, so as you can see, the video was taken down. What a surprise. We all know he did this. There would be no other reason why it wouldn't not still be up. I have no words. I have 0 words for this, and I could honestly just cry right now. So the video was taken down for harassment and bullying. Okay, cool. So why are his videos still up for talking to minors? You tell me that. Why does he still have a platform for talking to minors? Make that make sense. It truly is a shame, but you know what? I'm going to keep my head up and I'm going to fight even harder now. So that's the dumbest thing that he probably could have done. I'm not stopping now. So I'll see you tomorrow.
So as we know, during the Kayla Malik situation with her abusive ex, who is now in prison for his abuse against her, James threatened all creators for talking about it and said that he would take legal action against them because he thinks that he can get away with whatever he does by using his power and money to do so. And it is disturbing. And it needs to stop. It's a sad truth that when someone has a lot of money, they have a lot of power, and they're usually able to get by allegations like this unscathed, and we've seen that with James Charles time and time again. Now, before we get into these allegations from Ethan, he confirmed in his video exposing James Charles with receipts that a few months ago he tried to come out about this again and was met with a lot of hostility and threats from the public. And then shortly after his video was taken down, he felt like he would just give up and stop trying to talk about it.
Conversations that I've had with my lawyers via email and conversations I've had with, the detective in that state at the time, I kept to myself because, that's not just my privacy. Those people have families as well, and I didn't want to get them involved. But why should I protect people who never protected me? So I'm going to be speaking about it, and I'm going to be going deeper into it, deeper than I've ever been, with proof of me having conversations with my lawyers and emails and just everything else.
But he's back again, and he's being met with so much support this time around. Nonetheless, TikTok is still trying to remove his videos. I'm assuming that James Charles is reporting them because of course he would be. I'm sure he's behind the scenes trying to do anything and everything he can to get by like he has every single time. But he's talking about it, and we're going to be going over the videos that he has shared, and we're going to be talking about them as well. So before we get into it, this is what Ethan looked like when he was being preyed on by James, who was an adult. He had a famous birthdays page that said he was 14. I mean, you wouldn't need to hear him say he was 14, even though he did do this video years ago at the time where he did tell James what his age was, or he alleges that he told him. I'll go ahead and play that right here before I continue.
He asked me what my age was, and I told him I was 14 years old, and he told me I was very young. And I said, yeah, and he said, add me on Snapchat because I feel more comfortable talking on there. And so I said, okay, like, let's do it, like, bet. And he was asking me to send him nudes, and he kept wanting me to go to LA.
You wouldn't even need this child to tell you his age to know he is a child. When you are an adult, you can look at him and you know, like, that is a little boy. And if you are an adult and you are finding someone like that attractive, in fact, James, and we'll show this video later, sent this 14-year-old a TikTok video calling him a hot guy. Anybody who is an adult would know that this is a boy. This is a child. This is a little boy. This is not somebody that an adult should find attractive unless you are a pedophile. A few days ago, he decided to share his story once again with receipts from lawyers in hopes that people would hear him out. And I'm honestly shocked that people didn't believe him in the first place. When James is a known predator, like, there's been so many young boys that have come out with allegations against him. Several of these things he's admitted to. I mean, he has had countless victims expose him for disturbing behavior with underage boys, and his track record is horrendous. Yet people still support him and allow him to get away with it. Now, even though James is probably going to scrape by unscathed by these allegations again, we're still going to talk about them and hope that his supporters will open their eyes and brands will stop working with a known predator. But let's get into it. Ethan Rhett spoke out about how at 14, TikTok became his escape and he blew up on the platform and was living the dream. He said that he leaned towards it for happiness. And one day, James commented and liked one of his videos, and he was extremely excited about it.
James Charles commented and liked one of my videos. At that age and at that moment, you know, it was crazy. It was pretty freaking cool. It's like I accomplished something, you know, like, oh wow, a big creator is seeing me. Like, I'm being put out to this person's page. I was not a fan of James Charles, but I knew who he was. I didn't really watch his videos or anything like that, but yeah, you're gonna know who that is. It's one of the biggest creators at the time. I was super shocked. I was super happy, and honestly, I could probably say I was proud. You know, not long after he messaged me, hey, I responded almost immediately. Who wouldn't respond? It was exciting, but that excitement did not last long at all. The fun didn't last long at all. It honestly came crashing down just as quick as it all happened. And
not long after he commented on his video, in classic James Charles fashion, the 14-year-old at the time, Ethan, got a private message from James asking him for his Snapchat. Now, this is where he is known to have preyed on young boys before. This is not a new allegation. This is a theme. James asked him what he wanted to do, knowing that if he got into a young, impressionable 14-year-old boy's head, that he could fluff him up and make him think that you're going to become something and I can help you get there. I'm your friend. I have all this power. I mean, it's the power imbalance situation where James knew that if he made this child feel like he could go somewhere, that he wouldn't talk about what James was planning on doing.
That's the biggest creator I've ever been in contact with or ever commented or liked my post, you know? Anyways, he ends up following me and he messages me, hey. I obviously respond. I'm excited, but that's where everything went downhill. It got really weird. Anyways, we start going back and forth on TikTok. He initiates after a few days, hey, add me on Snap. I'm like, okay, you know, I was trying to hide the fact that I was excited. You know, it was really cool. I was hoping that this was going to jumpstart my career even more into being an influencer, being someone, you know, making others happy, and just that was my intention the whole entire time. Anyways, me and James start going back and forth on Snap, and he eventually asked me, you know, what do I plan on doing long term? So obviously my social media was picking up and et cetera, but at the time I really didn't know. I knew I wanted to be something and be someone and help others and just being an amazing person and spread awareness on social media, all that stuff. And I couldn't really give him an answer because I didn't know. It was, yeah, I wanted to, but is it something I really could do, you know? Eventually ended up telling him I wanted to get into modeling or acting or maybe even both. And, you know, he was very supportive about that, you know? He said, oh my God, you'd be such a good model, you know? You would do so well modeling and just stuff like that. And obviously I didn't see anything anything of it. I was young. I was happy he was saying I could do that, especially coming from a really big and noticeable influencer. You know, I thought it was great. Brother kind of didn't tell me in a way, but my brother he kind of let me do my own thing. But he kind of noticed. You know, he didn't. How do I word this? My brother didn't think about it as the way I thought about it. My brother kind of noticed something, and I could tell, but he was kind of just letting me do my own thing. Now that we got that out of the way, I'm just gonna jump into a more detailed version of it. I know y'all been waiting. I'm sorry. So James started getting extremely comfortable with me, and I was so excited. I didn't really realize it at the time. We were FaceTiming, which I will pull it up right here in this next clip. I don't think so. At least. Anyway, so that part was me on the phone with James that a friend of mine recorded just because he thought it was pretty cool as well, and I thought it was something cool to have, and I didn't think about it as any way to hurt him. And it stresses me out that my life was ruined because everyone thought that. It's irritating talking about. I'm sorry, y'all.
Fact that people tried to twist the fact that his friend recorded James' FaceTime call with the 14-year-old as if he was trying to frame him the entire time is wild to me, because even if that was the case, he was 14 years old and James was an adult. There are people who literally pose as underage children to catch predators. That's how you catch them. There's been several predators that were caught by people posing as 14-year-olds and recording it. So even if he was recording it because it was weird, it doesn't matter. Like, the fact that James was talking to him to begin with is the problem. It doesn't matter that the 14-year-old was recording the conversation or what his intentions were. Even if he had intentions to expose James, even if he thought James was being weird and making him uncomfortable and he wanted to record it in case something happened, good. He's having adult conversations with children. That is a predator. That is someone who needs to be in prison.
Anyways, James started becoming super aggressive with me. He would ask me to send him photos of my happy trail, which I didn't even have at the time, and because I was 14, I didn't have a happy trail, and I had armpit hair, but he didn't ask for that. And I kind of avoided the question because it made me super, super uncomfortable. I'm sorry, I lied, actually. I told him I shaved my happy trail because I was afraid to tell him that I didn't have a happy trail or have any hair on my body other than my armpit hair. So I'm sorry, I lied about that. Anyways, you know, he kind of started being aggressive extremely after that. He told me, well, don't shave your happy trail again, because I liked that. And he was very intense about how he said it. I know it doesn't sound bad, but it was only if you could be in my shoes when that happened. It made me super, super uncomfortable. Anyways, I go to bed that night and I wake up to his being sent to me, and it made me very, very uncomfortable. He would send me a photo of his behind in the mirror, and he also sent me a video of him in the shower, which those videos are somewhere on the internet. I'm sure you can find it. If I looked, I could probably find them in a Google Drive that we actually had for my lawyer.
James went on to ask Ethan for photos of his body hair and telling him not to shave it. It's so uncomfortable to even talk about. So James would literally talk to these young boys, asking them what they wanted to be and what career paths they wanted, knowing that they would know he could have the power to help them have that. And then after he felt comfortable and felt like these kids trusted him and weren't going to expose him, he'd send them inappropriate photos and ask for photos in return. He is so unbelievably dangerous. Somebody with James' name and money and power and people rounding about around him to protect him, this person is dangerous.
He started realizing that I wasn't into that. He started kind of making threats towards me, saying he was going to diminish my career. He could easily ruin my career, just all types of nonsense, and it was bad. Okay, it was really, really, really bad. Started getting super, super intense. He started saying he was gonna ruin my career, go out and tell people I was gay and I was closeted, which isn't an issue. That's not an issue at all, but it was still the fact that I was a 14-year-old boy, and it scared me. It freaked me out. Anyway, so that's when I made that video. There's a lot more that happened in the story, but this video is about 5 minutes long, so I will be making a part 2.
So James went on to threaten Ethan at the time, who was 14 years old. he was threatening a child, that he was going to expose him for being gay and ruining his career or opportunities if he were to say anything, which of course terrified him because he's a child. Like, if you're threatening a child, it is going to scare the living daylights out of that kid. Like, these predators, they know what they're doing when they're getting on these kids' good graces and making them feel safe, and they're having these conversations with him where they're getting close with them and making them feel like they have a friendship before they start dropping in the inappropriate photos and inappropriate requests. Because see, now we're friends, and so they already know what they're going to say or how they're going to handle it if the child doesn't receive it correctly, because this is not his first rodeo. He's done this numerous times. So of course, when he no longer feels like he's safe with Ethan, then he starts threatening this kid like, hey, I'm going to expose you. I'm going to make, your worst nightmares come to reality. I'm going to ruin your career. And look at me. I'm powerful. I can do that. This is going to scare these kids into not saying anything. There is no telling how many children have been paid off or their families paid off, or how, I'm not saying that that's happened, but with the way that James has gone about these situations, it makes you wonder how many other kids have been threatened and are too scared to say anything. I mean, James went on to say he wants them as young as he can legally have them. He's on a podcast literally saying that. So Ethan went on to show a lot of the receipts that he's never shown before that he had in discussing these allegations with James Charles to lawyers.
After talking to him on the phone, this was one of the first contracts they sent. I guess it's a social media warning and just a contract overall. It had to be me and my legal guardian signing it because at the time I was underage. She mentioned reaching out to the Frisco Police Department, which was the city I was in when it, first occurred and first happened. So they wanted to get law enforcement involved, which is expected. I did too. But things just didn't work that way. It all got kind of messy, which I will explain. But here is the first email that was sent. Now then, after that, they wanted me to send all the evidence into a Google Drive, which I did. Here's that right here. I know this is not really anything, but I just want to show y'all, and I want the people that don't believe me to see that I was doing everything that I needed to do to try to get this taken care of and put an end to it, or maybe stop him from doing it to other people. But here you go. Now this right here, don't mind the first part. It's kind of just a repeat of all the other emails that I've showed already, but the second part I really wanted to show y'all because the lawyer is saying they reached out to the Frisco PD, and the detective ended up calling her back, but she was I guess kind of busy, so they were kind of playing phone tag. But it was a good thing. Wanted me to be aware that they are trying, and they did reach out to the police department and everything else, which made me really happy. I remember actually, but here you go.
This is showing that he tried to take legal action before. And one fact that I want to bring up that is just so disturbing and brings in this, power imbalance and money discussion is that the lawyers went on to say, well, maybe we can get some money out of James at the end of the day because he's not going to want to go to court for this. He's not going to want to be exposed for these things. So let's see how much money that we can get out of him. And this really disturbed Ethan, who didn't want money out of it. He wanted, other kids to not go through what he did. He said anytime he sees James to this day that it brings up all of this trauma. And just imagine the cringe that you would feel when you see this person who tried to take advantage of you when you were a kid and then went on to be awful to you and threaten you.
So at the time when I was in touch with these lawyers and the detective, I was going through some traumatizing things. I was getting my address sent to me. I was getting threats. My family was getting threats. We were getting sent pictures of our house. It was a really awful thing. I started going into a depressive episode where I was too scared to talk to the lawyers. I was too scared to talk to the detective, and people kept pushing me to do it. Everyone kept pushing me and kept telling me I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to talk to him, I need to do that. And it became way too much for me. At that point in time, it became a lot. I left everyone in the dust, and that is something I regret deep down inside because this thing now, till this day, traumatizes me. Anytime I see a photo of him, I see a picture of him, something in my body just shuts down. Anyways, a few days go by. Like I said, I haven't talked to lawyer, detective, nobody. Then they reach out and they're like, hey, maybe we can, get some money out of this. And it's like, what? And they was like, kind of like, oh, he's not going to want to take this to court. He's not going to want to do that. So maybe he can give you some money out of this situation. And that just right there was just that. At that point was literally my breaking point, because it was nothing about the money, and it was a shame that they even said that. Yeah, after that, I completely cut all ties with them. Wanted nothing to do with that, because it was never about that at all.
It really comes off to me like Ethan just wants justice for what happened to him and doesn't want this to happen to any other child. And the fact that people are trying to twist it as, look, he was recording these things, he had it out to get him from the beginning, or look, he just wants money out of it, when he could have quite literally proceeded down the money route and never said anything, and he chose to ghost the lawyers because it became too stressful. Ethan was not out for money. He was out for justice, and still to this day is. I mean, it's just a sad reality that the more money someone has, that means the more power they have, because they can pay people for their silence, and they do it all the time. He goes on to show these TikToks that James had sent him, one of which was saying only 4 more years until he was of legal age. But I mean, you're literally talking to him now.
Here's me at 14 years old. Here's me also on famous birthdays. And I've been on famous birthdays prior to him even reaching out. So at that time, yes, it did say I was 14 years old. I'm about to show you next is a video of me opening his snap on Snapchat of him saying 4 years. And what he's implying on that 4 years is 4 more years until I'm 18 years old. My brother wanted to record it because he thought it was super weird of him to say.
It's just showing how aware he is that he was 14 years old and trying to be very vague about it so he could be like, that's not what I was, implying when I sent him that Snapchat that said 4 years, when it's obvious that's what it was. He also went on to post other videos that James had sent him where he was telling him that he didn't want to put makeup on a hot guy, implying that this 14-year-old was hot.
The last video I'm going to show you is a video of him telling me he doesn't like putting makeup on hot guys. And the reason why he told me that was because I saw he was doing his makeup and I said, hey, maybe you can put makeup on me for a YouTube video. It would be a cool collab, and I'm trying to grow my page, because he made it seem like he was my friend and he wanted to help me and kind of give me tips and tricks.
I hate putting really hot guys into makeup.
So Ethan went on to post other videos on TikTok, and I have not seen these or seen re-uploads of them yet because the platform removed them before I was able to see them. And they removed them for harassment and bullying. So I don't know if James is the one reporting these directly or if a mass amount of people are doing it for him. But nonetheless, TikTok is showing that what they are willing to do is stand with a known predator, someone who has admitted to it, someone who has made a public apology video for what he did to Ethan. The fact that they're willing to platform someone like James and allow this predator on their platform to post whatever he wants and, profit off of their social media app. But if Ethan comes out and talks about his experience with him, that's harassment and bullying. People need to seriously understand what bullying and harassment is. It is not making content with facts, okay? It is not bullying and harassing somebody to sit in a video and make content off of things that actually happened and bring awareness to it. I think it's more so bullying and harassment to go and have Ethan's videos removed that are showing receipts and facts to what actually happened, because you're trying to silence someone that was victimized by a predator when they were a child. And that is so dangerous. If these platforms allow that to happen and try and silence people for coming out and speaking out about what actually happened to them, that's just disturbing to me. It freaks me out. I am just so sick and tired of James getting away with what he does to people. I am so sick and tired of it because these kids are having lifelong trauma from what he's doing. And it's disturbing because James is getting older, but it doesn't seem like the people that he's attracted to are getting older with them. They're staying the same age. How is it going to be when James is 50 years old? Are people going to start holding him accountable then? And how many people, how many children have to be hurt and traumatized before then? There should be a stop made to it now. You all are going to have to let me know what you think about this video, and if you would like to give it a thumbs up and a comment to help the algorithm push it out there to more people, it would be greatly appreciated. Make sure you subscribe. I'll cover any updates that come out about this, and I will see you soon for another video.